أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم اللعين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu, my respected brothers and sisters. There is this question that I have been asked, and I would like to respond to the question. And the question is it permissible for a scholar or a reciter to demand high fees for conducting Muharram lectures? As I feel, scholars have commercialized the holy month and has become a source to earning good money. So this is the question. Is it permissible according to Islam, according to the Sharia of Islam? Is it allowed for, a reciter, a scholar to charge, high fee for his recitation or his lectures? The fact of the matter is that if you go into the Quran, in Quran 2 verse 128, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhan nas kulu mimma fil ardi halalan tayyiba wa la tattabi'u khutuwati shaytan innahu lakum aduwwun mubin, which goes by the meaning that Allah says, oh, you mankind, eat whatever is on the land lawfully, fil ardi halalan tayyiba. It has to be lawful earnings that can be consumed by a believer. Allah says, wala tattabi'u khutuwati shaitan. Allah said we shouldn't follow the footsteps of shaitan. Why? Innahu lakum aduwwun mubin. That indeed shaitan is our arch enemy. It's a clear enemy to mankind. In other words, Iblis or shaitan will urge human beings to eat what is unlawful, and that is, something that is not allowed according to the teachings of Islam. So from this verse of the Holy Quran and other verses that speaks about lawful earnings, it indicates that a person, whichever profession that you have to, have earnings out of it. Meaning that whatever you do, you have to have earnings out of it. Primarily, nobody denies anyone to do something that he requires, or he or she is required to be paid and not to be paid. Of course, that scholar or reciter can decide to say, look, I don't want to charge anything. I don't want to charge whatever you want to give, you can give. Or he can even say, I don't need anything. But primarily, he or she has the right to charge for his services according to the teachings of Quran. But there is a point that has to be noted in this regard, that how can one determine a high fee? How can we get to the conclusion to say this is high or it is not high? There is where is a bottleneck with regards to this question. Okay, of course, as a scholar, as a reciter, you have to be reasonable, that even if you are going to charge, your charges has to be reasonable. And the reasonability of this is, first and foremost, what cost goes into preparation for a scholar or a reciter, to give lecture or to recite. So there are so many things that has to be considered, and therefore, by considering all this, the charges has to be reasonable. It shouldn't be more than necessary. It has to be reasonable. And therefore, my respected brothers and sisters, according to the teachings of the Quran, there is nothing really wrong for a scholar or a reciter to charge for their services. But of course, if those charges are going to be outrageous, then of course it will be a problem. But like as I said, it will depend on the situation, where and how. Imagine if you want services of a scholar who lives in a country where the economy is quite high. The economy is high, and the currency is quite strong, and the person is coming into a country where the economy is lower relatively, and the salary structure of that part is quite low. Then of course there will be some sort of consideration that has to be done for both parties to understand the conditions and situation, and based on that for the scholar to be paid. And therefore, primarily there is nothing wrong for a scholar to charge, but just that there must be some sort of reasonabilities with regards to the charge. I hope this answers the question. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu.